Good evening, everyone. So, from heart to brain, let's go with the blood. So, we are discussing first few cases. A 55-year-old male, routine health checkup, found to have CBC of 13.4, 6,000 count, and 82,000 platelet, and all other examination and investigations normal. A 54-year-old male, alcoholic, generalized edema, now on evaluation, ascites with splenomegaly, and CBC 8.4, 6,000, 52,000 platelet. 38-year-old male presented with high-grade fever of 5 days, progressive fall in platelet count from 2.5 lakh to 1.1 to 20,000 to 10,000. 24-year-old girl, acute onset of pataches with platelet count of 5,000 without any other abnormality on examinations and investigations. 30-year-old female presented with anuria and altered mental status with fever. On evaluation, she had rising creatinine, falling HB, falling platelet, normal total count. All other investigations and examination normal. So what is the common point in all of them? Thrombocytopenia, right? So we'll discuss a little about that in the next 10 minutes. So these are defined as a subnormal amount of platelet in the circulating blood. Why it is important? Around 1/3 of the refers for a hematologist or like me in a hospital, it will be of thrombocytopenia. Around 10% of all hospitalized patients will have thrombocytopenia, and in ICU, if you see, around 35% of the patient will show the thrombocytopenias. Thrombocytopenic patients in the hospital suffer a twofold greater mortality because platelet, as we know, required for the blood clotting. These are the few pictures of pataches and purpuras. Now coming to grading. If it is up to 1 lakh, it is mild. Up to 50,000, it is moderate. Less than 50,000 severe, but if it is less than 20,000, it is very severe. Keep in mind, these are the 95% confidence interval. So that means 2.5% of the normal population will have the platelet count below 1.5 lakhs, and we need not to do anything for them. Why they are low? So there are 4 main categories for causing the low platelets. One is redistribution, hemodilution, bone marrow dysfunction, and lastly, destruction. So what is redistribution? So basically spleen carries around 1/3 of our total body platelet mass. So any condition that increases the splenic volume, number of the platelets inside the spleen will increase and that in the blood will decrease, right? So it is relative thrombocytopenia. However, the total body mass of platelet remains the same. Second is hemodilution. When you transfuse so much of PRBCs, so much of fluid as in traumatic patient might develop thrombocytopenia, but it is just the hemodilution. Now, production issues. There might be the aplastic leukemias, PNH, or myelodysplasias which requires definitive treatment, or that could be due to infection or alcoholism, nutritional deficiency, or certain drugs that might be temporary, and withdrawal of the agent might recover the thrombocytopenia. And lastly, destruction. The destruction is basically platelet are destroyed in the body mostly by antibodies. Usually it is acute in nature and may or may not have bleeding. So it are the ITPs, heparin-induced, certain drugs, autoimmune diseases, as well as some prosthesis-associated thrombocytopenias. And lastly, consumption. Platelets are incidental victim of some other pathological process. So like platelets are consumed by the abnormal clots happening in the circulation. By themselves, platelet has nothing to do with that. These conditions are also called as thrombotic microangiopathies. They are usually acute in nature and can be life-threatening if not treated urgently. These are the DIC, TTP, HUS, and the HELLP syndrome in OPS. Now, how to approach such a patient? First is history. Patient is bleeding or not is the most important criteria. How emergently or urgently we should proceed. Always take out the previous reports and previous histories. Patient might have thrombocytopenia since birth, or patient might have the recurrent episodes of thrombocytopenia. Patient might have other acute complaints like fever or abdominal pain or something. Other comorbidities and alcoholism like hypothyroidism or something. And lastly, drug exposure, which must include Ayurvedic history. Most of the people are taking some or the other Ayurvedic treatment. Then physical examination, whether again bleeding or not. Is bleeding site correlates with the thrombocytopenia? If you have hemarthrosis and you have the platelet 80,000-90,000, then it is not likely to be due to the platelet, but it is more likely to be due to the clotting abnormalities. If the liver or spleen enlarged or there is another lymphadenopathy for metastatic or malignancy workup. Then the pathology. What is manual platelet? Always ask for manual platelet whenever a case of thrombocytopenia comes to you, because there are many cases of giant platelets that doesn't get it counted by the machine. Then how many cell lines are decreased? Is it single platelet? Is it platelet and RBC, or RBC, WBC all? Peripheral smear always, any abnormal cells are there or not, like cystocytes for microangiopathies. Presence of giant platelets, and now the MPV has also come into action. Other reports like PT, APTT, RFT, fibrinogen, all our helps in the further diagnosis. Two most important diagnoses for me are the peripheral smear and the bone marrow biopsy, but the peripheral smear remains the first. So this is just an algorithm. You can see, first examine the peripheral blood smear at the first point, and then you can differentiate whether there are platelet clumping or not, it is true thrombocytopenia, relative, and then accordingly you can go on further investigations. Now platelet transfusion, coming to that, prophylactic or therapeutic. If you see, therapeutic is more common for surgical and cardiology services when there is a bleeding chances, and prophylactic transfusion is more common in the medicine or the hem-onc services. Now this is the guideline of indication for transfusion of platelet in adult. I want you all to focus on the numbers. If you want to undergo major surgery or invasive procedures and there is no active bleeding, you need to transfuse only if the platelets are less than 50,000. If you are going for ocular surgery and neurosurgery, you need at least 1 lakh of platelets. Surgery with active bleeding, you can go up to 1 lakh, but 50,000 is sufficient. In a stable, non-bleeding patient, less than 10,000 platelet is an indication for transfusion. And for non-bleeding, but patient having the fever or undergoing some invasive procedure, we consider platelet transfusion if it is less than 20,000. Even there are few guidelines which are saying that in a dengue patients without fever, without bleeding, completely stable, you might not need to transfuse even 10,000 or 5,000. However, in clinical practice, it's different. When there is a surgeon is asking for a low platelet, they will always ask you for more than 1 lakh, even for hernia surgery or laparoscopic surgery. So just think about these guidelines. Now, two products available for platelet transfusion. One is RDP or PRC that we commonly see. This is the derived from whole blood, 50 to 70 ml unit. It increases maximum around 10,000 per unit, and in adult around 5 units for a 50 to 60 kg person. What is the SDP is 300 to 350. It is equivalent to 5 unit pooled platelets taken from a single donor. It increases up to 50,000, and dose is usually 1 unit per adult. Now, administration of platelet, it should be ABO compatible, but it is not essential. It should be transfused within 4 hours of dispatch. Rate should be 10 cc per minute, so usually within 30 minutes you should finish off. Lifespan is usually 2 to 3 days, but there are certain factors that does not allow increment in the platelets are like fever, sepsis, HLA incompatibility, DIC, or there may be the more than 5 days delayed on the PRCs. This we can skip. So coming back to our all the cases. So the first case, 82,000 male without any complications, most likely to have the giant platelet syndrome. It is a physiological form of thrombocytopenia, and this patient doesn't need any kind of transfusion even for going the surgeries. The second patient, alcoholic, generalized edema, splenomegaly, likely to be the cirrhotic patients, and the splenic consumption is there, so it is hypersplenism. Even this patient usually does not require platelet transfusion because this patient doesn't bleed usually. Recently, one such kind of patient had undergone 6 hours of spinal surgery with only single STPs. A 30-year-old male, this which you are commonly seeing nowadays, most likely dengue fever, right? A 24-year-old girl, petechiae, platelet count 5,000. Diagnosis is ITP, most likely. Do we need to do bone marrow in all cases of ITP? The answer is no. Most of the time it doesn't require. ITP is a clinical diagnosis. In such patient, we can immediately start the treatment considering ITP. However, many a times we are doing the ITP when we consider that this patient might have some other syndromes or some other kind of leukemias when the other cell lines are also kindly affected. And the last case which I want to mention is this patient. It looks like TTP, HUS, because when peripheral smear seen in this patient, it showed cystocytes. Now, this is an actual emergency. We have to start plasmapheresis at earliest immediately This patient was started on the same night plasmapheresis, and within 3 days, patient improved, and on the 5th day, patient was recovered. So lastly, take-home points, thrombocytopenia can be from mainly 4 different categories. Careful history and physical examination is always important. Now the third point which I like the most is pathologist can be very helpful person. Whenever a case of thrombocytopenia comes, I always go to my pathologist and fight with him till we both come to same conclusion. If he doesn't come to same conclusion, we go for bone marrow. Microangiopathies must be identified and treated quickly. All patients of thrombocytopenia does not require platelet transfusion. Many surgeries can be carried out without platelet transfusion if platelet count is more than 40,000. Thank you.